verse 11. So they knew. They knew what was going to happen.
7 years.
And then the other thing that I just love was this, it's like the figs. The people who, I mean, Jeremiah keeps telling them over and over, you know, Jeremiah had been prophesying this for 23 years before any of it started happening. Let me ask you something. What was your life like 23 years ago? What if you got a message from God, you had to stay on that one message over and over all these years and not even see it happening? And all the people were mocking you and not believing you, but you were called to say that message over and over, and you didn't even see it. Can you imagine that there could be some self-doubt? I can imagine just thinking, am I crazy? Why do I keep doing this? It's not happening. When's it going to happen, Lord? You know, I could imagine doing that to God. 23 years this young man kept on with this same prophecy.
The voice of one crying.
Oh, yeah, like that. Yeah, that's good. And that God is always saying, as you progress through here, God says to the ones who will willingly submit to Babylon, there's all of these good prophecies. Only to those people that get good prophecies. Nobody else in the whole book gets good prophecies. But those people who will submit to the captivity. And Jeremiah says, go, build yourself a house like you're going to stay there for a while. Plant your fields and eat the harvest of those. Settle in. What he's saying is, settle in there. Don't be making yourself hoping to go home so much that you're making yourself miserable and you won't settle in. I think that's a good message for us. Sometimes God has us in a place and we are just not wanting to be there. But God ultimately will bless us even in a bad. I would say this for women who are maybe even unhappy in their marriage, that God can bless people in a situation or circumstance which doesn't seem to be a good, happy one. But God can still bless the individual in that situation if they won't run away and be hoping to always get out and entertaining divorce and whatever. You know, it could be a job, it could be, like I said, a marriage or family issue, it could be a city you live in that you don't like being there, you know, it could be a lot of things. But sometimes God says, I'll bless you, and I know this to be true for me. It's happened for me. I know when I first went to Choices, I did not really have a burden over abortion. I had a belief that was wrong, but I didn't really feel in my heart a burden for it. And I was there a while before that actually got stirred up in me, but God, I knew He wanted me there. I knew, and I know right now, still. Even though I left once and got invited to come back, I know what God is doing, and I want to be there. But my point was, you make the best of where you are. You'll be blessed if you can make the best of where you are.
You're blessed if you can pass, if you can deal with the testing.
Yeah.
God, just we think, human beings, that we should always have beautiful sunshine.
Yeah,
right?
That's human nature.
And we deserve it. We do. We think we deserve that all the time.
Yeah.
Are you having a bad day?
Yeah, these people, they were, like we know from Ezekiel, they were on the bank of the river. So that would be a good plush place to be living. You could grow crops there if you were close to water. So these people, they had, Nebuchadnezzar was taking care of them. He wasn't slaughtering them. We don't see stories of him going over into the Jewish area and slaughtering people. We just see them there existing in captivity. So, but it was the ones who didn't want to be over there who ended up dying from the sword and famine because they were not cooperating with God. He said, settle in, feed yourselves, build your house. The other people who kept wanting to go home were probably living in a tent, and who knows, just ready to figuring out how to break out of Babylon and go back across the desert or what. That's all speculation. But anyway, so let's see where we are. Chapter 27. I want to go to that and I wanted to read the whole thing down to a certain point, because this is a big parabolic prophecy. And I mean, it's so huge it affected nations. When God called him to ministry and said, "You're going to be a prophet to nations," this is where it was fulfilled in his life. So put yourself in his shoes, okay? Be Daniel for a minute. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah. Now, Jehoiakim was the first. That means that Josiah had just died. Okay, so his son, he had just died. His son, this spelling, was the next son that took the throne for a very short time. The king of Judah, this word came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, "Thus says the Lord to me, make bonds and yokes for yourselves and put them on your neck." Can we pause and let somebody describe what a yoke is?
Thing to pull the burden,
to yoke something to something else.
To keep the reins from digging into your shoulder, when you put a yoke on, you pull a load easier.
Okay.
A yoke is a big wooden device that rests over the back of the necks of two oxen,
Yeah.
and it comes across and it rests on the necks, and everything's tied to that. And when they pull, that's what's the pressure on the yoke is what's causing the wagon to move.
They showed that in the movie, him actually having that on it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's biblical, but
Yeah. Yes, it is. This is the story of where that happened in the movie. So Jeremiah was told, make some of these. Make some yokes for yourselves. My Bible has that plural. And put them on your neck. So basically, this is weird. God's not saying, I need you to go out here and pull a wagon, so put this on you. This is a parable. He said, and then verse 3, and send them to the king of Edom, the king of Moab, the king of the children of Ammon, the king of Tyre, and the king of Sidon. So 5 kings. He's supposed to make then at least 6 yokes. And he's supposed to send 5 to these foreign kings. And it says, send them by the hand of the messengers who come to Jerusalem to King Zedekiah. So now think about that a minute. If God told you to do that very specifically, first of all, you'd have to know where Zedekiah was, right? You have to go to the palace, basically. And you'd have to watch for these messengers to be coming, because you're going to hand them a yoke. Okay? It's not going to be so they can go pull their wagons. It's a symbol of bondage and slavery. And it's verse 4, and command them to say to their masters, or these 5 kings, thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Now he had to specify God of Israel because these were foreign kings. Okay, it wasn't there. The foreign king's God was not the same as the God of Israel. Thus will you say to your masters, I am made the earth, the man and the beast that are on the ground, by my great power and my outstretched arm, and have given it to whom it seemed right to me. And now I am, I think that's Adonai actually in Hebrew, has given all these lands. He's telling all these other kings, God gave these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant. And I have also given him the beasts of the field to serve him. That literally means, if he's giving him the beast, that means he's going to own all these countries. Nebuchadnezzar will rule all these different countries. That's what the prophecy is saying. Verse 7, and all nations will serve him, and his son, and his son's son. So there he's kind of alluding to that 70 years. This is not going to be a short time. It's going to be a generations, 3 generations of kings, until the very time of his land comes, and then many nations and great kings will make him serve. So Jeremiah is saying it's for a period of time till the 3rd son is king of Babylon, and then other nations are going to come and overtake Babylon. This is so specific. I don't understand why these people weren't paying attention. Wouldn't you love to hear a prophet right now telling us that specifically? You know, Chuck Pierce gives that kind of specific prophecies. He's got a book called, something, well, I don't remember, but he wrote it in like 30 years ago, and he said, this is what I'm seeing for the future. And even Ukraine, right now, the thing in Ukraine is in that book that he wrote 30 years ago. But we don't have a lot of those kind of prophets today. Okay, verse 8, and it will be